Hello everyone, I am Naveen. I am the instructor of your today course. So in today we're gonna talk about Arduino, what was the history behind Arduino, and also different categories in Arduino. And we just have to go on software and technical sections. So my objective of today to give you a complete beginner friendly information of Arduino. So without further delay, let's dive into our topics. So I just have to add an introduction session to introduce what was going on the upcoming things. So I just add what is Arduino and what is Arduino Uno, different kinds of boards, and we have technical specific details like which hardware component dedicate which thing and which specific part to perform on board. And we have the software section. In software, we have using the Arduino by itself provided by the company, and we have the programming, the language. They have the Lishan in C language. All the code are written in the C language. So first we talk about what history behind Arduino. So the Arduino project started in 2003 and 5 for the student to provide a low cost and professional way to create devices uh, like a better environment using sensors and actuator or be different things. So basically the name Arduino comes from Italy. The name Arduino suggested by one of the king of Italy. So that will be a thing. The Arduino will be defined as a king of the name. So so first, what is Arduino? So Arduino is basically open source computer hardware and software device or company. So hardware in software in the sense we just have to define hardware, you just have to physically touch, and the software in sense you just have to use applications or software that running on a operating system or something like that. So this is called a software in a hardware thing. So this is the single board microcontroller. So we just have to building digital devices or like interesting object. So basically they are connected to the physical world because we have the lots of pins in Arduino to define what was the thing and what was we attach depend on you. What do you want to attach? They will work accordingly. So we call Arduino do yourself kit because you just have to want what do you want to make. You just have to make so different Arduino boards. So we have lots of Arduino boards. We have commercially produced, and also you just have to interested to have to modification. Definitely you just have to buy it. So in the Arduino, you just have to dedicate the microcontroller. So in the image you just have to see is some of the Arduino do not have any microcontroller because they have the modified by the uh, company of Federal Food Industry and 2016 and 17 by the company its name Federal Food defined as a American company. So this is was the commercially produced and divided the publicly available. So what is Arduino Uno? So Arduino is basically microcontroller board based on a 80 mega 328. This is the brain of the all of the board in Arduino physically board. So the brain communicate with the program, and we just have to want what you want to make. So they have the 13 input output pins. We just have to call digital pins, and we have the 6 analog pins. Analog pins are basically used for the sensor communication, and we have the USB connections for making the power supply, and also users have to program by using software Arduino. And we have the DC power jack also used for making the power supply like 5 to 12 volt maximum, and then we have on the side voltage regulator. This is, and the voltage regulator will be born if the 12 volt B goes on upper. So we have the AC to DC adapter or battery to get it started. We just have to go provide only 5 to 6 volt to start the device. And then we have the power. Power is basically to start the Arduino. So in the power section, the power will be provided by the DC. It is will be selected automatically. You just have to not type any buttons or provide any commands. So the board operate externally supplies 6 to 20 volts. Uh, like already I said, if supplied is less than 7 volt, however, the 5 volt pin may be supply less than 5 volt board be unstable, but it is not like unstable continuously, but you have to understand to provide a regular voltage. And then we have the win and ground, basically positive and negative in the some case, or anode and cathode. Somehow you just have to better understand. So the win basically provide a Arduino board using the external power supply like 5 volt. I just already said you can supply voltage through this pin by you just have to see 5 volt, and also in the side ground pin, and also you just have to one more pins like 3.3 volt for if you have the not stable voltage. So that's the thing. So in input and outputs, in input outputs, each of the 14 pins on the Uno can be used for input output. Like already I said, we have the digital pins for making the digital communication or serial communication with the other devices. Using the program like pin mode, digital write, digital read. So basically it goes on a function level. So we just have also RX and TX for receive and transfer serial data. This is RX and TX. So basically provide the serial data to the software. And also on the communication level, you have the different type of faculties to uh, like I just say, like you just have to communicate different Arduino boards like motor driver or also just like a computer. So depend on your communication, you just have different faculties to add microcontroller with the other serial communication. So like we already said, we have the memory 80 mega 328. We have the brain of the Arduino, because without brain Arduino is nothing. So we just have 80 mega 328. This is the basically microcontroller. If you have a bootloader on that, they basically compile the code and give the program to the Arduino, and Arduino will work smartly. And we have the programming section. Arduino is basically programmed with the Arduino Uno software. The 80 mega is basically on the Arduino Uno comes with the bootloader, because they will save the code and they will know what will be perform action. So without external hardwares, they will perform accordingly with the 80 mega 328. So we just have to add one more section in the reset button. In reset button, you just have to reset the code or reset the program or reset the full of the physical board. So if your program will be not working, you just have to type the reset button. This is the physically available in Arduino Uno. So you just have to uh, tip the reset button. They will be restart the program and reset the physical board of itself. This is not a very uh, complication of the Arduino, but sometimes we have to use the reset button. So we have the something called function that running on other software section. So we have the two section like setup and loops. So first you have to understand what is function. So the function basically have to block of code that name and statement that executed when we have called the function. So in this time we have to use two statement and two functions like void setup and void loop. Void setup is like you're running once, and loop users have already know loop will be endless. They will run again and again, again and again until the device will be burned or your power supply will be goes out. So the setup will be run once and your loop will be run repeatedly. So this two type of function we have use on Arduino programming software section. So in the software section we just have to already use if and else statement. On the flow control statement I just have to add. So in the flow control statement you just have to define your condition, like my condition is true, so you just have to some of the example do something. If my condition I just want to do something else, I want do something else, या फिर I have the two both choices. You just have to plan A execute and I have to execute plan B. Depend on me. What do you my mind will be work or not. So this is the if statement, and I just pass by else statement. So in else we have declaration of thing, or we just have to call either in the statement or. So if my condition or function do thing A, like already I said, and else do thing B, depend on my mind and depend on my situation, I have to have both choices, do thing A or do thing B. So this is basically a flow control statement. Define my statement if and else cases. They basically use on everywhere, like I just type my username and password, the website will be authenticated and they will provide me the profile of mine. So I just have to run my things, or already what do you want. So the function that we are using in program, like we have delay we just have defined in millisecond. If we type 1000 millisecond, we already know 1000 millisecond is equal to 1 second, but in the software section we just have write 1000 millisecond. So the device will be know 1000 millisecond is equal to 1 second. So if you add 5000 millisecond, the device will be know we just have to stop and on the device for 5 seconds. And we have the pin mode for input and output configuration, for your behavior of your device. What do you want for the output and what do you want for the input. If you want to the output, you just have to blink the LED. So you just have to add the LED. And in the input section you just have the serial monitor. In serial monitor you see the software will be running input behavior or input things. And we have the high and low. In the high case you just have to see the device will be on, and the low means the device will be off. The software will be defining high and low by the understanding of on and off of the digital pins. And we have the digital read. So the digital read will be write high or low upon your code will be depend on you how many second of your delay have to add on your code. And we have the analog, right? Analog is basically used for the sensor. Depend on you, you just want to input or output, the sensor will be work. So this is the read and write section of analog, digital, and also delay and milliseconds. This is the basically function of the Arduino that will be work accordingly on the device. And we have the both I just have to add two things, communication, how the communication of the device will be work on a Arduino. like analog and digital. If you not understand, don't worry, you just have to skip. So in the communication section, we have the analog and also digital. So in the simple language, analog is basically you just have two different information in the signal will be up and down. In each unique signal changing, the information you just have to got. So you just have to know this is the analog. Your output will be always changed by the previous. In the second case, we just have to ask the digital communication. In digital, your signal will be perfect, like you just have to constant value 0 and 1s. The signal will be up and I 0 1 0 1. So they are the both cases of the communication we just have to using in Arduino analog and digital. And then we have had IDE. IDE stand for Integral Development Environment in Arduino. So the basically cross platform or open source, you just have to download by open source, and also they are written in Java. So the language we are using C language, and also the notepad or the pad we just have to program or write, we just have to call sketch. You just have to also rename it, might depend on you, and that's it. So if you want more video in Arduino, you just have to tell me in comment section. I hope you like this video. So thank you.